Welcome to another edition of Talk City Greensboro, produced by GTN, featuring interviews and events happening around town. It's an easy way to stay in the know while you're on the go. Subscribe to Talk City on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or SoundCloud so you can keep up with what's going on in Greensboro city government and more. I'm your host, Josh Johnson, and it's always my pleasure to introduce our podcast producer and my good friend, and the guy that keeps it interesting, Mr. Devin Smith.
Are you sure that I produced this podcast?
That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I say when people ask. When they go, "Who does that great podcast?"
Okay. So what do you say when they're like, you were a little off this week?
Thanks for listening.
Well, what's up, Greensboro? We want to thank you for listening to our conversations each week. We sincerely hope that you were able to catch our last podcast. It was a great conversation that we had with one of our local artists here in Greensboro. On the show today, we're excited to have one of the city's fantastic employees. She's came in as the recycling and waste reduction educator, and she is our guest today. Please welcome Masey DeMoss to the Talk City podcast. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So, Masey, real quick, tell us about exactly what people should know that is happening with the waste reduction education programs for the residents, and why waste education, things like composting and things like that, why is that so important?
So as a waste reduction educator, I'm here to be an asset to the community and to really answer questions people have about recycling and waste reduction. So there are a lot of questions we get about, like, is this recyclable? What do I do with electronics? What do I do with my yard waste? So I'm here to answer those questions and get out the word about waste reduction. So we want to help people reduce their waste by composting or just by producing less or purchasing less. So something I talk about a lot is the recycling triangle, which is it stands for reduce, reuse, and recycle. And a lot of people don't know that that is in order of importance. So we want to first reduce the number of items that we buy every day and reduce the number of things that we're throwing away. And then, if we've reduced as much as we can in our houses, to then reuse old items or reuse things, repurpose things. And then if we've reused, then we can get on to recycling. And that means purchasing items that we know are recyclable. And when we have the opportunity to recycle, doing that, even if it means going out of your way, if you can, taking things to be dropped off for recycling like glass and foam.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about is they say reduce, reuse, recycle, but then they just skip to recycling for the most part.
Yeah.
But when you think about things like instead of buying water bottles, just get a cup or something like that. And then you kind of tackle both the reusable and the reduce because you stop buying plastic bottles.
That's right.
And then you have reusable cups.
That's
right.
So,
and if you have to buy a water bottle, like, it happens, sometimes you're out working out or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot my water bottle. You don't want to go dehydrated. So then it's okay to buy a water bottle. But, like, if you have to, then recycle it, So that's the last step is to recycle.
Absolutely.
Yep. So on the reuse part of that triangle, rain barrels and composting bins are great. They're wonderful. They're a big thing. So is there a program going on with the city now where residents can get them, or information about how they can get them? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we just started this up. We are selling compost bins and we're selling rain barrels right now until the end of September. So residents are able to purchase those through our website, which is greensboro-nc.gov/bin barrel sale. And they're discounted heavily. They're like probably half the price of what you would pay if you went to, a big box store to purchase one.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are great the composters are great. Like, I've heard a lot of good remarks about them from people all over the state who have used them. Other cities have done similar sales with these same compost bins. And we've heard a lot of great things about that. But it's important so compost bins are for reducing your food waste, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's important to reduce your food waste because it's going to the landfill. If you throw something away, like if I have a banana peel and I throw it in the trash can, it's going to the landfill. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't know that when food waste goes to the landfill, it doesn't break down. Like it just stays in the state that it's in for years and years and years and years because it doesn't have the stuff that it needs to break down.
Oh.
So it stays there. But if you put it in your compost bin, it breaks down and you can recycle those nutrients or reuse those nutrients, I guess, and put them back into the soil at your house or your garden and then get new plants from it. So, yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely. And so what do you do with the rain barrels?
So the rain barrels go on like a downspout on your house. And when it rains, the rain collects in the rain barrel, and then you can use that for your garden as well. And that helps to like reduce flooding in urban areas.
And for those who have not used a rain barrel, I've got one. You would be amazed at the amount of water that runs off your roof. I'm talking a lot of water.
Yeah, and we do have some flooding in Greensboro, so that also helps to combat flooding.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was recently an audit. Was White Street landfill involved in that as well?
Yes, it was.
Can you tell us about the audit? I know it was a lot of recycling. It was a recycling audit and a waste reduction audit. So can you just tell us about that?
Yeah, so the audit happened at the White Street landfill, but landfill stuff was not really involved. It's just, so the White Street landfill is actually only like 2% active landfill, and the other space is used for waste reduction efforts. So we have like solar panels out there. Right. We have our gas to energy plant and a lot of other we have composting out there too. So we use the land at the White Street landfill for the audit. And so we took 60 residential and commercial routes and took the trucks from those routes, and they dumped off at the White Street landfill. And we collected samples from each of these routes. It got a good representation of Greensboro all over the community. They took samples from these routes and they sorted them into, you know, what's recyclables, non-recyclables,
right.
Scrap, electronics, all the things that people recycle. And there were a lot of different things there that were not recyclable. Yeah, so they sorted those out and then gave us this overview of like how everybody is doing in Greensboro with recycling. It was really cool to see. So we got a lot of good results from that. We got a lot of good results with cardboard especially. People were recycling cardboard and paper very well. That was our top recycled item, cardboard and paper.
Right.
And then on the other side, things we might need to educate people on or work on was like bagged recycling. So a lot of people are putting their recyclables in bags, garbage bags or even grocery bags. So if you put your recycling in a garbage bag, then it is going to get thrown away if you put it in your recycling bin, which is sad because you've done all this effort and it's went out of its way to go to the recycling center, and then it's going to go to the landfill because they sort it usually as garbage.
Okay. Yeah. So a better idea if you wanted to use a bag to collect it, but then when you put it in the recycling bin, you want to dump it out of the bag?
Yeah, so if you put it in a bag in your house, dump it out of the bag into the bin. You want your recyclables loose in the bin.
Okay.
No bags.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. And so what about, I know you said that there was a lot of items that aren't recyclable that you found. So how can people figure out what's recyclable, what's not recyclable here in Greensboro? Is there an app for that?
Oh, there is an app for that. Good question. Yeah, so we have the GSO Collects app, and you can download that. It'll tell you all the good stuff. It'll tell you when your recycling day is, remind you about your collection. It also tells you what's recyclable and what's not. You can search anything like TV. What do I do with that? Yep. Plastic bags, are those recyclable? It'll tell you that they aren't. And then it'll tell you drop-off locations for like grocery bags, stuff like that. So yeah, there is an app for that.
Well, you guys are always involved in different ways to educate residents, and we just are finishing up, for those who don't know, Plastic Free July. So give us an idea of how we did for Plastic Free July, and then tell us what other kinds of events that are coming up that you're going to use to promote and educate waste reduction and recycling in Greensboro?
Yeah, so we are wrapping up Plastic Free July right now, and it is all about reducing our plastic waste. We use so much plastic in our everyday life, so we want to try to cut that back, especially single-use plastics like coffee cups and water bottles. Yeah.
Tisk, Josh.
Josh is holding up a water bottle
so
right now.
Just in my defense, and for those who don't know, these make great little seed starters.
Yeah.
You just cut them right here, and you can cut them. You can actually get 2 out of here. You split it down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay, so you're reusing at least.
Reusing. You got to reuse, yeah.
You've come up with a lot of ways to get out of trouble today, sir. A lot of ways to get out of trouble. He printed one piece of paper on recycling day. He printed one piece of paper with one line on it.
For notes. Anyway, you were telling us about all the wonderful events coming up.
Yeah, so Plastic Free July went really well. We're still working on that. And, it doesn't have to be July to try to cut back your plastic waste. So we're always encouraging people to reduce their plastic waste.
Yeah.
But in other events, we have our Recycle Rodeo coming up September 18th. And it's from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the St. Paul's Catholic Church.
Okay.
So you can drop off all your stuff like electronics, household hazardous waste. We do sensitive document shredding for up to 5 boxes of sensitive documents if you want to shred anything there, because shredded paper is actually not recyclable. And then you can drop off foam. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And so we have that going on. And then after that, we have our Fall Farm Festival, which is October 16th. Okay. And that is to promote and is our grand opening for our compost demo site, which is a bunch of composter. We have a bunch of compost demos, like probably 9 different composters. Mm-hmm. And we're showing people how to use them.
Nice.
And it's going to be a fun time. Music, food trucks, all the fun things.
So you can literally eat and then go put your food in the compost.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it.
And that's at Keeley Park.
Okay. That's a great park.
Yeah.
So tell us how people can get in contact with you, especially if they want to set up maybe they're an educator and they want you to come to their class or something like that. How can they get in contact for educational opportunities?
Yeah, so we do all kinds of educational programs. We do stuff at the libraries. We do programs at schools, programs at HOAs. Anywhere you want us to be, we'll come to talk about recycling. We're taking all the opportunities we can get. So you can email us at recycle at greensboro-nc.gov. We also have a form that you have to fill out if you want a program request on our website. And then we have our social media. GSO Goes Green.
Oh, yes. Cool. Okay. Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody check it out. You heard about the events coming up. We encourage you to check into a rain barrel and a composting unit. And, like I said, and keep in mind that triangle is in the correct order. So it's not just recycle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a couple steps before that.
Yeah. Very important steps.
Yeah. Like putting notes on your paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me make
I don't see any notes.
All right. Well, Masey, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate you being here, and we'll have to have you back.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
All
Absolutely.
Right. Stay tuned in weekly by subscribing to Talk City Greensboro on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And don't forget you can download Talk City from SoundCloud.
That's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in to Talk City. Be sure to watch GTN, your official source for news and information about the city of Greensboro. GTN is available on Spectrum Channel 13,
AT&T U-verse Channel 99,
and North State Channel 31.
GTN also streams live on Roku and the city's website
at greensboro-nc.gov. Have a good one.